Roll up, roll up, roll up to the greatest show on earth. Meeple Circus has rolled into town, and it is your job to put on a performance that will get the crowds out of their seat. The acrobats are ready, the animals are ready, the ringmaster's ready, everyone's ready. So let's get that elephant on a ball and let's roll into it. Each player starts with a circus ring of their colour, a matching colour score token, and one blue beginner acrobat and one yellow intermediate acrobat. Place the game board in the centre of the table. Starting from the left of the game board, place the height ruler and the speed bonus tiles. Shuffle the public demands into colours and place each colour in a pile next to the board. This is what the audience are hoping to see during the next act of your performance. Shuffle the component tiles into an upside down pile and place out 6 face up to the right of the board up the top. Each round these 6 will get refreshed. Below this, pick the matching scoring tile for each act and place below the component tiles. Then separate the first, second and third act tiles by colour and shuffle them into their piles. Act 1 is red. Draw face up the number of tiles per player plus 1. So in a 3-player game, draw out 4 act tiles. In the second act, you will draw out the green act tiles, and in the final round, the blue act tiles. Finally, place all meeples in a pile next to the board. Randomly select the first player, or the last player to have seen a circus act is the start player. Give them the first player marker, and we are ready to start the circus. At this point, it would be remiss for me to mention that this game has a great app with circus music, which is ideal as a timer for this game. If you don't have this app, just use any timing device. How to play. The game is played over 3 acts: the first rehearsal, the second rehearsal, and the great performance. The preparation phase. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, the player chooses either a component tile or an act tile. Then the next player will choose, and so forth until it gets back to the first player, who must then choose the opposite type of tile to what they chose prior. For example, if they picked an act tile, they must now choose a component tile. Once all players have chosen, they then grab the corresponding meeples that are represented on their tiles. The presentation phase. Each player, all going simultaneously, will have 2 minutes to put on their show. Now, how you place your meeples is up to you, but with certain rules. The main rules are, besides the beams and purple barrels, all other meeples must not be on their sides. All components must be within the inner circle of the ring. All components on the ground must be touching at least one other component to count, and all players must stop once the music stops. Once the first player finishes, they announce they have finished and take the first player bonus token. The second player will do the same and take the second player bonus token. The evaluation phase. You count up the points 1 per person, starting with the first person and going clockwise. Points will be scored for 1 point for each blue beginner acrobat that is on the ground, 1 point for each yellow intermediate acrobat that is off the ground, and points per height measured of any red expert acrobat. To do this, you place the ruler nearby and look through at eye level to the acrobat. If any portion of the red acrobat reaches a zone, you score those respective points. Points for any public demands that were met during the performance, and finally, any points for speed bonuses. The end phase. All players keep their respective meeples and they get carried over to the next round. Any remaining component or act tiles are removed and fresh tiles placed out. For the act tiles, you now use the second act tiles, which are the green tiles. And in the third act, you place out the blue tiles. Replace the scoring marker with the second round scoring marker. The first player discards 1 of the public demand tiles of their choosing. My preference is to remove 2 different cards, but you can choose whatever works best for you. The first player marker gets passed to the player in last place, and you commence again with the preparation phase by picking either a component tile or an act tile. For the second act tiles, this will introduce guest star meeples with special powers. Read all of these carefully before choosing. For the third act tiles, this will introduce special actions that must be done during the course of the performance to earn the points. Again, read these carefully before choosing. It is suggested in the rules to perform the great performance individually under the spotlight of other players watching. You can also choose to do this simultaneously for a quicker game. A variant in the app has an accelerated first round of 30 seconds and an accelerated second round of 1 minute. You may choose to use this harder variant, or you can stick to the standard 2-minute timer. The player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner. In case of a tie, the winning is shared. Now that is all you need to know to play Meeple Circus, a 2 to 5 player game by Cedric Millet. Now go, get your acrobat tights on, and let's start performing.